Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode on how to move to Germany series. This is a very important series and I hope you are following up and you're learning new things. I've seen that you guys are really engaging in the comment section. I've seen your questions and it really makes me so pleased and happy that you're following and you're inquisitive, you want to know more and all that stuff. So I have answered your questions and I hope you take notes of everything I've been saying so far because they are really important. And like I said, if I haven't touched some things, I forget to say some things in the video, please remind me. And yeah, continue to drop more questions and I'm so excited to answer all your questions. Okay, so like I said in our last video, that our next video is going to be how to draft your CV and how to write your motivational letter in German standard, the do's and don'ts of a German CV and motivational letter, the important questions that you need to answer, or the important things that should be written on your motivational letter, because that's what is going to tell whether you're going to be qualified for the position or rejected. So that's what we're going to be dealing today. We're going to be talking about. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like and comment down below. Okay, so guys, stay to the end and yeah. Have you been applying for Ausbildung and jobs in Germany and you've not been getting any response? And you're qualified, you know you are qualified. Guess what? The problem might not be your qualification, but two different things, which are the CV and your motivational letter. These are very important documents. Your CV and your motivational letter tells a lot about you and how the employer or the reader would consider you. That's the first thing they see. They haven't met you, they have not spoken to you, they are only looking at your your credentials, your information and everything you've written. So whatever you write there will tell them what they should think about you, right? So you need to put all these things in details, like you need to make it really professional, and that when they see it, they'll be so excited to even meet you. So it's your CV and motivational letter that tells if they should invite you for an interview or if they should give you the opportunity for them to speak to you or for them to know more about you, right? Because naturally you cannot really write everything that you want to say about yourself, because 2-3 pages is not enough to write everything that you want to say about yourself, right? And you don't need to say so much story about yourself. Make it clear, precise, important things. And I'm also going to be putting a link below the website where you can draft your CV, which is Lebenslauf.com, right? So there you can draft your CV for free and download it. But the one I use is Job Seeker. That one requires you to pay, right? Requires you to pay for it for you to download your CV. Okay, so these websites are what German standard CV. The way English writes their CV is totally different from the way Germans write their CV. So do not write your CV in English standard or whatever standard. Make sure you're using German standard because that is what they recognize. Take note of all this information because it is really important and necessary. If you get these two documents right, it gives you the chance for the employer to say what? Okay, I've seen your documents and I've gone through your documents, you're qualified. Yeah, I'm inviting you for an interview. You obviously be happy to receive such invitation, right? I'm going to be showing you how to draft German standard CV and motivational letter that's going to increase your chances of getting invited for an interview. The German CV is called Lebenslauf. The German standard CV takes a profile picture. Okay, it takes a profile picture, so your picture also matters. And please make sure that your picture is professional and clean. Please take note that everything you're writing on your CV is gonna be in German. in German language and not English. You're not going to be writing in English to draft your CV or your motivational letter. They're all going to be in German. Everything must be structured and clear. Make sure you start with your personal details. Your personal details are your full name. The way the German name is written is totally different from the way we write it in Nigeria or the way English write their names. This is the way your name should be written. That's the German way of writing your name. If you have three names, your first name comes first, not your surname. I mean your first name, the name that they gave you first. Your first name comes first, then your second name, which is your middle name, and your surname. Your first name is called Vorname in German. Your second name is called Zweiter Vorname or Mittelname, and your surname is called Nachname. Take note of this. So that's how you're going to write it: your first name, your second name, and your last name. Address is also included in your personal details: phone number, email, date of birth, your place of birth, and your citizenship, that's Staatsangehörigkeit. You can also add gender, which is Geschlecht, your Führerschein, which is your driver's license. So you can add your driver's license also, like for example, Class B, depending, yeah. So just write Class B, for example. Your marital status. If you're married, you can say you're married, which is verheiratet. And if you're not married, don't bother adding, your marital status. So the next thing on your CV should come with your education, which is Bildung. So you're going to write your education in reverse chronological order, right? So from your university, if you went to university, you write your university, then your secondary school, and then your primary school. And also you should include the month and the year. When you add your education, it's really necessary, for the employer to know when you finish school. So after your education comes your work experience. What have you done, right? You start from the recent work experience, like what you're doing right now, or what you've done from the recent one. So if you're doing something right now at the moment, right, when you're drafting your CV, you should write the start date and then current. That is, you're still on it, you're still working. So it means laufend in German. So you write your start date, that's the month and the year, and then laufend. So, and then what comes next is the previous job you've done. For example, I work this month as a baker. That's the first thing I'm going to write. It's going to be at the top. March 2026, which is this month, I'm a baker. Last year, December 2025, I was a cook. Baker, March 2026. Cook, December 2025. Also, the work experience, when you're describing what you've done, please make sure that you use bullet points. Don't write them in paragraphs. Please do not write it like you're writing an essay. Okay, be straight to the point. So for example, you want to say the responsibility, like what you did, while you were working. You can say, I assisted in da 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 da, I supported da 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 da, I managed da 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 da. If you've done an internship before in whatever field of study or field of course, you can put that you've done like an internship. Like I said, one of the requirements for getting Ausbildung is what practicum, which is internship. You need to have done like at least 2 weeks internship, and if you've done that, you can put that. After work experience comes your skill or your interest, right? Which is Fähigkeit in German. So you write your skill, if you're good in teamwork, right? Teamwork, okay? That's Teamarbeit, time management, Microsoft, wherever you have skill on that you're really good at, right? Put it under your skill. You can also add hobbies, like what do you love doing? What do you enjoy doing? If you love reading, if you love writing, if you love traveling, whatever you love doing, just put it under your hobbies in your CV. Your Sprache. So if you have like 2 or more Sprache or like 2 or more languages, you can add it. So if you know English, you know German, you can add English, and you can add what German. So your German, your English and German, you have to put the level of German that you have, right? So if you have A1, you put A1. If you have A2, you put A2. If you have B1, you put B1. If you have B2, you put B2. If you have C1, you put C1. And if you have C2, you put C2. And when you're putting your level of German, please make sure you're putting the actual level of German. Do not exaggerate what it's not. If you know you're B1, write B1. If you know you're B2, put B2. Don't go and say, oh, you are C2 and you're not C2. I'm going to share my screen and show you how a CV, a professional German CV, should look like. Hello guys, welcome back. So here's what the German standard CV looks like. As you can see, like I said, the CV is called Lebenslauf, and here I have a picture. I have a picture already uploaded here, profile picture. So the German CV must carry a profile picture and it should be professional and clean. Okay, so this is a perfect example of a professional picture, right? And yeah, once you've uploaded your profile picture, the next thing you need to do is to type in your Vorname, which is your first name. So for example, let's say the first name is what? Lina. And let's say the second name would be Elizabeth. So then the Nachname, which is a surname, let's give it Alexander. So we have Lina Elizabeth Alexander. So now we've gotten our names. Let's get to the email. So let's say the email address would be email addresser Lina Elizabeth, okay, Alexander. So at gmail.com. Okay, so the telephone number, let's say plus, I'm going to use in Nigeria, telephone number plus 234 8123456789. So yeah, then let's say the address, the addresser, okay, the addresser can be School Road. The addresser can be School Road #1. Okay, so that's for the, so the next thing here is what? Postleitzahl, which is your postal code. So let's say the postal code or the postleitzahl is 10001, and ought to be Lagos. Lagos. So we're going to add, some extra, box. Here we have Geburtsdatum, which is what? Date of birth. So let's say the date of birth is 01/03/1997. That's 1st March 1997. So the next box here is what? Geburtsort, which is what? Place of birth. So let's say the place of birth is what? Lagos, also Lagos. Yeah, and yeah, you can add your Staatsangehörigkeit, which is what? Nationality, so which is Nigerianish. Okay, so that's Nigerian. So your Geschlecht should be what? Geschlecht is gender. So if you're female, female is what? Weiblich. And if you're male, you write what? Männer. So the next thing, the next box we're going to add is what? Your, if you have your Familienstand, which is what? Your marital status. So if you're married, you write verheiratet. And if you're single, please don't write ladies. Okay, don't write that you're single. But if you're married, add verheiratet. If you're not married, don't bother adding anything to Familienstand. Okay. And if you have driver's license, you can add your Führerschein. So let's say Führerschein is what? Klasse B. So that's that for the persönliche Daten. So you can see this is your persönliche Daten. We have the Vorname, Nachname, email address, Telefonnummer, Adresse, Postleitzahl, Ort, Geburtsdatum, Geburtsort, Führerschein, Geschlecht, Stadtangehörigkeit, Familienstand, and yeah, that is enough for your words persönliche Daten. Now let's go to the next section, which is what Bildung. Bildung means what? Education. Let's say this person went to university, right? So we're going to add university, secondary, and what? Primary education. Okay, under the Bildung. So under the Ausbildung here, which is like the course of study. For example, the person studied public health, so we're going to write public health in German is what? Gesundheitswissenschaft. So we're going to write Gesundheitswissenschaft. So for Schule, let's say for example, I don't want to use any school. Okay, let's just say XXX University. XXX University. So let's say the Ort is also what? Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. So let's say the start datum, which is what? The start date. The start datum is Januar 2021. Then end datum, which is what? Let's say Februar 2000, yeah, 2025. So yeah, then under Beschreibung we can say degree, which is Abschluss. To describe it, Baccalaureus, die Naturwissenschaft. Okay, so in brackets you're going to write what? The public health, which is what? Gesundheitswissenschaft. Gesundheitswissenschaft. Okay, then you close bracket. Once you're done with the university education, then you just have to click on what? Ausbildung hinzufügen. Okay, so the next section will come out for you to add your secondary school education. So under the secondary school we can put the name of the school under Ausbildung. Okay, it doesn't really matter like whether I put it in Ausbildung or Schule, but I'll just want to put it in Ausbildung. Okay, so I can say XXX also secondary school. So Ort also would be what? Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, let's say the start datum Monat August, Jahr 2015. Then end datum what? Juli, Jahr 2020. Okay, so for Beschreibung, which like description, that's what Beschreibung means. So for us to describe it, because it's a secondary school certificate, you can just say Abschluss, which is what? Degree. Real Abschluss. Okay, in bracket, West African Senior School Certificates. Okay, so yeah, so once you're done with that, just click on Fertig, which is done. Then you add the next section, which is what? Primary school. You tap also on Ausbildung hinzufügen. That's to add what? Education. So here you also type the name of the school under Ausbildung, which is what? Also XXX primary school. So also let's say Lagos, Nigeria. So start datum could be November. Let's say November 2009. So end datum would be what? October 2014. Okay, so for the Beschreibung, we also say Abschluss, Schulabgang, Zeugnis. Okay, Schulabgang, Zeugnis. Once you're done with that, you're going to click on what? Fertig. So that's that for the education. As you can see here, you already have them. I think I have to adjust something up there in Abschluss Wissenschaft. Okay, I think it's okay. Just a little adjustment. Yeah. So to make it more arranged, so yeah, click Fertig. As you can see, we have the university, the secondary, and the what? Primary school. Once you're done with your building, you click on what? Plus Berufserfahrung. And here, Berufserfahrung is your what? Your experience, what you've done. Okay. So we're gonna start with the most recent things you've done or what you're doing currently. Let's say she's working as a research assistant, which is Wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft. Wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft. Okay, so yeah, Wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft, that's the position she's working as. So let's say Arbeitgeber could be what? XXX. Arbeitgeber means your employer. So we can say Ort, Abuja, Nigeria. Let's say Startdatum could be Januar 2025. We're not going to add end datum. Just going to click on what's laufend, which is what, current. Like the person is still working as if it's in Schaffliche Hilfskraft. Okay. Now Beschreibung, you're going to add Beschreibung, what she's doing, her job roles. So I'm just going to tap here. Here I'm going to say, for example, Unterstützung bei der Durchführung von Forschung, Projekt, okay, im Bereich Prävention und öffentliche Gesundheit. Hier says Unterstützung bei der Durchführung von Forschungsprojekten im Bereich Prävention und öffentliche Gesundheit. Okay, it means what? Assisted in conducting research projects in the areas of prevention and what? Public health. So once you're done, you click on Fertig. So that's that for the first experience. So if you have another experience here, we can add another experience. All you need to do is to tap on Berufserfahrung hinzufügen. Okay, so you can say position also. Let's say for example, you can say Gesundheitsarbeiter, which means health worker. You can say Arbeitgeber also XXX. Okay, and then the ort could be Ibadan, Nigeria. So Startdatum is September, yeah, September Jahr 2025. Enddatum Dezember 2025 also. Dezember 2025. So Beschreibung also, you're gonna write the description of the role. Okay, you're gonna write the job role on that Beschreibung. Okay, so once you're done with that, you also click on Fertig. So now we're done with the words Berufserfahrung. The next section is Kenntnisse und Fähigkeiten. Kenntnisse und Fähigkeiten means what? Your skill, okay? It means knowledge and skill, or your skill in general. Okay, so you click on plus, and here you can add different skill. Okay, they gave suggestion. So we have Präventionarbeit, öffentliche Gesundheit, Kommunikation, Teamarbeit. These are great skills relating to that. So once you're done, you tap what? Fertig. So that's under the what? Kenntnisse und Fähigkeiten. The next section we're going to do is what? Sprachen, which is what? Languages. So click plus here and you add languages. So you're going to click on Deutsch. Obviously, you should have your German. And we're going to click on the level. So let's say, for example, you have B2 level, B2, click Fertig, and the next language, English, you're going to add the level. So you click on Fertig. So once you're done, you can add other languages that you know. Okay, so here I'm just going to leave it as Deutsch and English. If you can speak Französisch, which is French, Spanish, Italianish, whatever, Portuguese, Arabic, whatever additional languages that you can speak, just make sure you add it to your Sprachen. The next is Hobbys und Interessen. So that's what your hobbies and interest. Okay, so click on plus. It also give you suggestion of the hobbies, what you like doing, and you can click on listen, Reisen, Kochen, and music holding. Once you're done, you click on what? Fertig. We have more suggestion of what can be in your CV. We can add practical, which is your internship. So let's add practical here. So once you click on practical, this pops up. So here you can add a practicum. Maybe you did a practicum, okay? Maybe 2 weeks practicum, or whatever practicum you might have done relating to, that position you are aspiring to. Just add it under what? Practical. So position, because you're an intern, so you're going to write practicant. The Arbeitgeber, also XX. Let's say Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. So Startdatum, we can say Startdatum April 2025 and Enddatum Mai 2025. You can also add Beschreibung, which is description. You add your job role, like what you did while you were an intern. Okay, so once you're done adding your job role, you click on Fertig. So if you have certificates, you can add your certificates if you want. So these are like the major things that should be in your CV. Once you're done with that, you can add reference. So you click on reference. Normally, you don't necessarily need to add anything on that reference. So just leave it as it is. Just add the reference. Once you've added the reference, that is everything that you need to make up your CV. So as you can see, this is the complete CV here. But I didn't put the description, the job roles for some of the job positions, which you can do it yourself, like when you're drafting your CV. I just used this as an example, right? The job roles should be at least two to three job roles for each job positions, and your CV shouldn't be more than 2 pages. Okay, at least one, but not more than 2 pages. So this got to 2 pages, but I'll say it's 1 page because this rising cocoon music or can be up there, but for now we're not using it for anything. Okay, once you're done drafting the CV, make sure you cross-check everything. You look at the name, you look at the email address, look at the number, the phone number, your house address. Just cross-check everything that you've written everything correctly, you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's. Okay, so that is that. Once you've cross-checked everything and it's okay, right? All you need to do is go to Herunterladen. Herunterladen means download. You click on Herunterladen and it's gonna download. And right now I'm drafting the CV on a laptop.
So once you're done, you can transfer to your phone, you can send it to your WhatsApp or wherever you want to send it to. So that is that for drafting your CV. So I'll click on Erinterladen. I just want to show you guys what it looks like once it's downloaded. So guys, can you see that this is a finished CV, right? What I just drafted now. So as you can see, the profile picture is really clear and professional. The name, everything is well written. We have Bildung. You can see die persönliche Daten, the Geburtsdatum, Geburtsort, Führerschein, Geschlecht, everything. You can see we have the Berufserfahrung, wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft. Everything is, well arranged. Yeah, this is what your CV should look like. Well organized and professional.
If you've watched this point and you found this video really helpful and you've learned something new, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Okay? And I'll see you guys on our next video. Bye.